And we are back, and we just finished Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, released in 2023, rated PG-13 with a runtime of 2 hours and 30 minutes. It didn't feel like 2 hours and 30 minutes.
No.
The pacing on that was really good. This is the final, maybe, installment of the Guardians with this particular crew, I think. This was directed by James Gunn with writing credits to Stan Lee, Jim Starlin, and James Gunn. In this...
I doubt Stan Lee and Jim Starlin wrote.
Well, that's what's listed here on IMDb. I mean, I guess it's like from
Stan Lee and Jim Starlin helped create the characters, but they had nothing to do with this script.
Man, let it go.
Yeah. Let it go.
Right.
Let it go. Let it go.
Oh, wow.
What?
So the IMDb page for writing credits is...
There's a lot of names on it.
Jim Starlin created Drax and Gamora. Stan Lee created Groot. Larry Lieber created Groot. Jack Kirby created Groot. Steve Englehart created Mantis. Don Heck created Mantis.
I think Larry Lieber and Stan Lee are the same person.
Okay. Roger Stern created Nebula. John Buscema, Nebula. Sal Buscema, Nebula.
Let me see that.
Bill Mantlo, Rocky Raccoon. Keith Giffen, Rocky Raccoon. Steve Englehart, StarLord. And Steve Gan, StarLord. That's interesting. We'll give everyone their shout out. So in this... it is following, I guess, a lot of all the other films, plus I believe the Christmas special,
which was brilliant.
That was great.
Christmas special was amazing.
I thought Roger Stern was on 1010 Wins.
He might be.
There is a guy named Roger Stern on 1010. It's not the.
I don't think it's the same guy, but yeah.
There's probably a million Roger Sterns out there.
Yeah, that seems like a pretty...
I don't know. I mean...
That seems like a pretty common name.
Yeah.
In this particular story, Peter is still recovering from the loss of Gamora. Not that she's died, but she...
It felt like she died.
Well, but then she came back.
She did die, but then...
Peter's Gamora died.
Gamora from the past came, who has no connection with Peter other than she's been told that and in her future she got together with him, but that's meaningless to her. Right. She's still the Gamora who just left Thanos' side. And
I'm surprised she didn't go back to him. Well, she can't because he doesn't exist now.
Well, she does do what she already did in what was it? The
first one.
Endgame.
Oh.
She basically says, I don't want to do this. So, yeah, she betrays Thanos regardless.
Okay. So Peter's sort of out of it, and they encounter Adam Warlock, played by Will Poulter, who does a good job here, I think.
Yeah, he definitely plays the sort of, I guess, like perfect guy who's taken out of the cocoon a little bit early. So he's not all there mentally.
No. He is like a child.
Yeah.
And also, we are introduced to the High Evolutionary, who was also in Peacemaker. You know,
Not the High Evolutionary wasn't in Peacemaker.
Well,
the actor who portrays the High
Evolutionary
was in Peacemaker.
I hate the High Evolutionary.
Yes, we all did. Oh my
God.
God.
The High Evolutionary is
horrible.
Yes, but brilliantly played by, I am going to butcher this, and I apologize in advance, Chukwudi Iwuji.
Let me give it a shot. I'm sure I'll butcher it too. Yeah, that sounds. I would pronounce it the same way. Chukwudi Iwuji.
He's freaking fantastic. He
does a great job.
Yeah, he is the villain you love to hate. Absolutely, without a doubt.
Yeah, I mean, he's got his reasoning. He's completely deranged.
Completely.
Does not care about
anything. Yes.
Life is meaningless to him. It's just a toy that he plays with.
And he gets to decide what's what. I'm going to go around the table and get impressions. I'm going to start with you, Olive G. What did you think of the film?
I thought this movie was amazing.
It was amazing. Did you have a favorite character?
God damn, there's so many characters.
I mean, if you have more than one, like if you liked more than one, tell us.
Well, I love the whole Guardians crew, of course.
Of course.
I really love Mantis, even though she's like kind of dumb. She was still a good character. And also like... I kind of like Gamora at the end. Honestly, she was kind of a bastard in the beginning, not going to lie.
Yeah. But she turns it around.
Yeah, I guess so.
She tones down the jerkiness by the end. She was a jackass.
I mean, you
sure.
see her get to see, I guess, when she's walking around the ship when nobody's around, she sees the background of the characters basically through how they're living on this ship.
Right.
So you see her softening up a bit in that respect, and also in how they are so fiercely loyal to
each other.
Rocket. And everybody, especially Rocket, is in some pretty dire straits throughout this whole movie.
We won't give anything away, but yes, I would say that this is Rocket's story.
This is like Rocket's origin.
Yeah,
and
it is
so
devastating.
Well told, so sad, so devastating.
It was very sad.
Oh my God.
You cried, Mom.
I cried in like 3 separate places in this goddamn film.
Did you cry, Olivia?
No.
You're weird.
What?
It's all right.
I felt sad, but I didn't cry.
I cried 3 separate times. 3 separate times. I won't mention because I don't want to give any spoilers. This movie did just come out a few months ago, but we'll try to keep it spoiler free for the most part.
Mm-hmm.
Gigi, what'd you think of the film?
I thought this was great, especially since I thought it was gonna be garbage. I don't know why. I just think that from now on there aren't gonna be any good superhero movies. I don't know why I thought that, but
I totally get that.
Like,
I totally get that.
A lot of movies are just like hot garbage nowadays. Like, what are people thinking?
Yes. I mean, I think, you know what? You bring up a good point, G. So let's talk about that. Is there too much superheroes? Are there too many supers at this point?
Yeah, I guess. Because before it'd be like every once in a while there'd be a superhero movie, but then like Marvel started doing like 3 a year or whatever. And I think that maybe
plus the TV shows. Right.
And that. Yeah. And I think people got sick of it. And they kind of I don't know, they might have decreased in quality too, because I haven't been really impressed with any lately. Fair
enough. And then you also have the proliferation of DC movies, because DC's trying to make a name for itself as well.
Putting their guys in the pool too. And DC always seems to, I don't know. They sort of they just make mediocre to bad stuff.
They DC it up.
For the most part. I mean, there have been some really good. The first Wonder Woman is great. The first Shazam is fantastic. The Pattinson Batman was really good.
I don't really count the for some reason the Batman stuff never goes in with the rest of it.
Yeah,
it just doesn't.
It's its own entity.
It's its own little thing in the background.
Was DC the ones responsible for Morbius?
No, that's Sony. Sony, who owns Sony actually owns Spider-Man. So what Sony is trying to do is
build its own cachet.
Okay, we'll let Marvel have Spider-Man, Tom Holland. But we get all the side characters that are in Spider-Man's little sub-universe. And we're going to make movies about them. And
is that the Aaron Taylor Johnson movie?
Yeah, that Craven movie is a
Sony movie.
Is a Sony movie.
Why did I think it was a DC?
I absolutely hate it.
I don't know, but the fact that it is a Sony movie and it's for some character that
nobody
cares about. I don't know what the hell they're thinking. I mean, right now what they're thinking is we're going to make it so violent that people will want to go see it.
I mean, unless Gareth Evans is directing this, I mean, I feel like...
Yeah, I don't see it, especially with... oh my God, that Morbius.
It was
because they're trying to make their own.
Morbius was god awful.
They're trying to make their own little universe there. They're trying to make their own universe. The Venom films are terrible. I mean, the only reason why they're a success, the first one was a success, is because people like that character.
Yeah.
But nobody gives a crap about Morbius. Nobody gives a crap about Craven. Nobody gives a crap about Madam Web, which is another one that they're working on.
Yikes.
Nobody gives a crap about Silver Sable or whoever else they got chucked into the pipeline. Nobody gives a damn. And you add that to the fact that the people making these movies don't give a damn about the characters either.
Yeah.
And you don't put Spider-Man in them. So what's the point?
But the Sony animated Spider-Mans have been successful and good. Really good.
The Spider-Verse movies were great.
Yes.
They were amazing.
Fantastic.
Yeah. I'm PO'd that we have to wait till next year for the next one.
But that had a character that...
It is? Why? Oh, writers.
Writer strike and the
They
demands of
haven't
animation.
even started. I think that I heard Haley Steinfeld saying she hasn't recorded any of her lines for Gwen, and they barely started production and whatnot.
Whoops. Can we talk about the writer's strike for a second? No, you know what?
We're supposed to be talking about Guardians, and then we talked about Morbius and Sony and DC and
yeah. Okay, let's rein it back. I would like to get your impressions. What did you think of this film?
I love this. This was great. It was a really good third part to this trilogy.
Still not as strong as Captain America, but
the Captain America trilogy is the best one
by far. Yeah,
by far.
But this is a close second.
This is a close second.
Yeah.
Every character has something to do. Every character is still well portrayed by everybody. The actors know these characters. You got new characters that are interesting and added something to the story. You had a great villain. You had a great origin with Rocket.
You have these really impactful scenes.
Yeah, there's really impactful scenes. I would probably say my only gripe in this whole thing was I think he went a little overboard on the music.
Really? You know what's so funny? I am usually the one that picks up on that, and it didn't bother me this time. I was like, you know what? I feel like there was a lot of music in here, but it didn't piss me off.
To me, it felt like everything they did, it was somebody pressing play on that little.
That's
doohickey.
good.
The music was all good and well chosen. I just thought it was a bit overkill. Like in the first one,
I think it's good because you should do everything with music. I don't care.
No, music is fine, but when you're using popular songs, in the first one, they really weaved it in there. It was great how it was those songs were woven into the story.
Yes.
Sometimes it was because they were listening to it. Other times it was because it was just some sort of atmospheric thing. It added to that. Like when they fly into nowhere for the first time when they're playing Moon Age Daydream. It's perfect. And they're floating over and you have the sound of that song. It's absolutely excellent. Whereas in this, there were certain parts where it was like rapid fire. It was like, okay, here we're playing this one, and now that song is done, and we're right into the next pop song. And it was like, come on, give it a little room to breathe a little,
right?
Or use the instrumentals of the song to carry things through, but don't just jump right into another hit.
They didn't do that.
Yes, they did several times.
They didn't.
Yeah.
You're gonna get arguments from the children because of that.
Well, I'm glad you all like the music because this is music from my generation.
Yeah.
Should be ashamed.
All right.
Weird opinions.
My only and it was extremely minor. It didn't ruin it for me or take anything away. It was just something that I noticed that it was a bit heavy-handed.
So would you rate this a solid 9?
Yeah.
Good.
Oh, we haven't gotten there yet, but okay. I was going to say I absolutely loved this. As I said before, there were 3 instances where I wept. This was a beautiful kind of full circle for all these characters. I love that Gunn uses the same actors. I love that he loves Nathan Fillion. I love seeing his wife, Jennifer. I love just the Guardians. I love Bradley Cooper was just so good. So good. And I mean, it's funny because it's a CG little character.
Yeah.
And yet, from the first frame of this film to the very end, he's just the heart of this film. Chris Pratt is great as StarLord. Palm as Mantis, amazing. Kudos to Karen Gillan. Her Nebula came full circle for me. You don't like her as much in the previous ones, but in this one, she really is part of this family.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
You see she genuinely cares.
She cares about Rocket.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah. And it shows. I mean, when she hears his, we won't discuss it, sorry. But yeah, I loved what they did with her character as well. I'm glad they didn't cop out and force a romance here, which I thought might have happened, but I'm glad it didn't. I'm glad that the story progressed the way it did. I'm glad that the characters that learned the lessons that they did. It was lovely. I have no notes. I feel like James Gunn is such a master storyteller. For someone to take so many variables, so many characters, so many actors, right? And create this cohesive story. 2.5 hours, it's long, but it's not, right? And I feel like this movie moves in at such a good clip that you don't even know that it's 2.5 hours. And just no one's wasted here. As far as I was concerned, I didn't feel like anyone was wasted. I think everyone got a moment to just shine, even if it was just for a little bit. And it was just nice to have this journey with all these characters. I'm interested how they're going to carry the Guardians brand going forward, because in the end it seemed like there's going to be a different kind of crew, and that's great. I think that's awesome too. It'll just be interesting to see how this story progresses. Again, not even saying that to be funny, but James Gunn is a master storyteller,
especially with a lot of characters.
Yeah,
he's good. He's good with ensembles.
He really does amazing work here. Yeah, I'm flabbergasted at how good this was, and kind of to G's point, like you sort of expect the quality to go down.
Yeah, I mean, I do got to admit, even the Marvel stuff, it just hasn't really been hitting lately.
Yeah, we still haven't seen the last Ant-Man.
Still haven't seen the last Ant-Man. I heard it was just
Yeah.
I felt the same thing about Black Panther 2. It was okay. I genuinely disliked Thor: Love and Thunder. I know you were fine with it, but I genuinely
What about
disliked
I
it.
think
Doctor
I saw
Strange.
other things in it.
Doctor Strange was good.
And Spider-Man?
I hated the last Spider-Man.
You know what? You're hilarious because every time we talk about Spider-Man, the first time we talked about the third Spider-Man, you were like, it's good. Then it became it's okay. Then it became it's not bad.
And
like now it's I
actively hate it. Oh, you know
which is just ridiculous because you don't hate it because the last time we watched it on television, you were engaged.
No, I mean,
whatever.
Listen, I'm easily entertained. I think the more I watch it, the more upset I get because it could have been better. It's such a mediocre film, and you're used to a certain level of storytelling with Marvel movies, and that just didn't do anything for me.
I thought it was good. It wasn't the best in the series by far.
I like the second one the best.
I think the second one was the best.
Yeah, but, agreed. I mean, I like the first one, but the second one, yeah.
No, the first one was great.
Yeah.
The second one was even better. The third one, it was okay.
It was my least favorite, but I don't hate it. I just didn't enjoy the ending. The ending kind of ruined it because,
But I feel like I think they're just making too much stuff, and because they're making so much stuff, there's just not enough time to really put quality in there. So it's affecting everything. I mean, the special effects still look good, but they don't look as good as they used to.
Interesting.
I think they sort of I think the effects peaked at like Endgame. And then since then,
everything went into Endgame.
Like everything peaked at Endgame, and then since then it's been sort of like a bit of a decline. There have been good ones, but a lot. I think they're just really just hurting the brand by
doing too much,
inundating too much, and trying. I guess I don't know. Just you had a winning formula. I don't know.
Well, they were still, even in the heyday of phase one, they were still putting out 2 or 3 movies a year.
It was like 2.
No, I think
and then they moved,
and
then they moved to 3, and then it's I think they got up to 4 and TV shows.
Right. I think that's where it hurts, the TV shows. Although I enjoyed the crap out of WandaVision.
WandaVision was
loved WandaVision.
Yeah, WandaVision was great because it was so weird and
Loki.
And interesting.
And Loki was fantastic.
Loki was great.
I didn't care for
Falcon and
Winter Soldier.
Yeah.
That could have been better. That pissed me off because those two actors are really good.
Yeah, they could have tightened that script up and also just given him a way better bad guy. I mean,
I don't even remember the bad guy, to be honest.
Hawkeye wasn't bad.
I liked Hawkeye.
Yeah.
But you said that you hated Haley
in it. Yeah, she annoyed me for
Steinfeld.
some reason in that.
I feel like she was worse than Edge of 17. And you love that movie.
She was cringy in that. But you love her because...
Cringy to the point where I wish she got punched in the face repeatedly.
As you get older, you'll understand. That's what being a teenager is. Just
she was a little abrasive over the top.
But that's... teenagers... I'm not talking about you because you're different. But for the most part, teenagers are all me, I, woe is me. So that's what's going to come across. Seriously.
I don't know. I've never met someone that acted like Nadine.
I hope you never do.
I hope I do, to test if like people actually do things like this. Because any type of like absurd teenage behavior I've seen is always portrayed in shows. And I've never seen anything like that in real life.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, if they portrayed normal people on shows, people wouldn't watch them. You have to have drama.
I guess.
Yeah.
That's why people like Jersey Shore so much.
Yeah.
People like that, yeah. Or you get shows like Euphoria, which is basically
Are we gonna keep on talking about Guardians?
Yeah, we will. In a second.
it's like every single weird, crazy story you heard about high school, except it's all happening at one high school now, everybody's pregnant and on heroin, and
apparently they're like showing up in like bikinis and whatnot. Someone told me that one of the characters in the show showed up to school in like BDSM gear.
Oh my god!
Yeah,
what's BDSM gear?
But you wouldn't.
We'll tell you later.
You wouldn't have a show if it wasn't that.
My god!
Everybody was normal. Their TV wouldn't exist.
But yeah, I do agree that there is kind of too much superheroes, but if they scaled that back and to your point, absolutely, you focus on the writing, you make these stories stronger, you could still have superhero stories, but just, yeah.
Yeah, seriously, just focus on the writing. Try and come up with something new each time. Don't rely on...
And pay your writers.
Pay your damn writers. Exactly.
Seriously.
It all begins with the writer.
It really does. You don't have
just use
anything.
ChatGPT for everything.
You can't use ChatGPT for everything. You can try,
and make less so this way the effects crew has time to do everything beautifully.
Right.
Don't overwork your effects crew either.
Yeah. Yeah,
because that's what's happening. That's why we didn't see that Flash movie, but I saw like somebody put side by side the Quicksilver scene with some scene from Flash, and it was just like, why does the Quicksilver scene look so much better?
Yeah.
And it was made like 10 years ago.
Yeah. Well, that was like such a great introduction.
Yeah.
I'm not a big fan of those Matthew Vaughn X-Men movies, but that sequence is pretty amazing. I think
the Matthew Vaughn X-Men movies are like the good ones.
I didn't like those. I didn't like the Bryan Singer ones either. The
rest of them are mediocre.
Just
mediocre to terrible.
They're all pretty forgettable to me.
It's kind of hard to
be honest.
Superhero movies, isn't it?
I think it depends. I mean, some people do it well. I mean, the Russos, I think, have a really good handle on it. I think James Gunn has a really good handle on it. Yeah, I think it really depends. I think it really, really depends.
All right. So what are we doing?
Now? Back to Guardians. We're going to go around the table and get numbers. I'm going to start with you.
I'll give it 9.
9. Gigi.
I'll give it 9 too.
Olive?
9.5.
9.5. I too will give this a 9. This was an epic send-off for these characters. Kudos again to James Gunn for just quality storytelling. Again, you really listen. You can put some jackass at the head of a company and he can collect millions and millions of dollars a year, but the people that are actually doing the effects, doing the sound, doing the editing, doing the acting, doing the writing, that's the heart of all these stories.
Yeah.
So pay your people. Yeah, take a pay cut
and stop with the shenanigans with the bookkeeping where
this movie didn't make any money.
Like Lord of the Rings is in the red,
shame
Men in Black
on you.
is in the red.
Yeah, shame on you, Warner Brothers.
absolute garbage.
Yeah.
Oh, with the catering bill was out insane. Yeah, because you're paying yourself for catering.
Exactly.
You're not fooling anybody anymore. Just
stop it.
Yeah.
Everybody's worthy of a livable wage. The $27 million man is telling the $60,000 guy a year that he's being unreasonable. Get the hell out of here with that. All right. So that's it from us. And we will bid everyone a
Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
good night.